And I need all of you to stop what you're doing and listen.
Come on, everybody. Here we go.
It's 106 miles to Chicago. We got a full tank of gas, half a pack of cigarettes. It's dark, and we're wearing sunglasses. Hit it.
Hello, boys! I'm back!
Well, hello everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Filmbox Podcast. You heard that voice crack. I see you looking at me.
Water, buddy.
My God. Well, it's time to put on those swim trunks, join your local crazy shark fisherman, get on the water, hunt some sharks, and watch Jaws. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the Filmbox Podcast. I'm your host, Aaron Souza, joined by the usual crew. Connor and Sam are here. How you guys doing?
What's up?
Yeah. So if you didn't know by the title or by my intro, today is it's the last day of Shark Month, guys. I know, Connor. I know, it's so sad.
Hey, don't cry because it's over. Be happy that it happens.
That's true. It's very true. But to cap it all off, I mean, we're reviewing quite possibly the greatest shark movie of all time in Jaws.
One of the best movies, period.
One of the best movies, period, of all time. Yeah, I mean, this is going to be a good episode. I'm excited. It's been a little bit since I rewatched Jaws. You can see in Connor's camera, if you're watching us not live, but in video, he has the Jaws poster with him.
Gifted to me by my good pal Aaron Souza.
Yes, sir. From Tennessee, good old little store in Tennessee that I found. And you can actually see I have a Star Wars one in the background here too, from the same store. So now I just got to get one for Sam, and we'll have the trifecta next time I go down to Tennessee. But anyways, yes, we're watching Jaws. We're reviewing Jaws. We're going to talk about all of that. But before we get into that, guys, what have you been watching lately? And also, what are you drinking today?
So we recorded 4 days ago?
We recorded on
Sunday. Today's Thursday. So I've only seen 2 movies. In preparation of watching Deadpool this weekend, I am gonna try to rewatch a lot of the X-Men movies. I don't think I'm gonna be able to get to all of them. So
well, you've got a few of them to go.
Yeah. Well, no, I've seen like X-Men, X2, X3, those guys. So I just rewatched. I just rewatched
all those folks.
The Wolverine, the newer one. Like where he's like Japan and stuff like
Japan,
that.
Yeah.
I didn't even know that was a movie.
So
honestly, I saw you reviewed it, and I was like, "What the fuck is this?"
I think I saw that 3 times in theaters when it came out.
It's not a bad
what
one.
is with you? You see the most random movies multiple times in theaters.
I went on a group date to see it once, I think, and then I went with friends the other 2 times.
Nice.
Definitely a step up from X-Men Origins Wolverine.
Well, I mean,
you
a step in the mud is a step up from
you can
X-Men
take a
Origins
shit.
Wolverine.
You could take a shit on the floor, and it's a step up.
Yeah.
So.
Hey, you know what's a great idea for a movie? Let's add in Deadpool, but have him not talk, because that's the whole point of his character, right?
Yeah.
Hey, I got a great idea for a movie. Let's cast Will.I.am.
Sign of the times, maybe. But anyways, what have you actually been watching?
I've watched the Wolverine, and then I watched Jaws last night. So
beautiful.
I'm gonna try to watch maybe like future X-Men Future Past, Apocalypse, Logan, stuff like that, because it was just revealed that what's her name is now in
Daphne Keane.
Yeah, Daphne.
And it's
Keane.
not spoilers. It was in the trailer, guys. It's in the trailer.
I did see a spoiler for the plot.
I have not seen any spoiler really. I'm trying to stay off of social media because I know.
Right. I will say though, guys, if you haven't seen the I don't know what local theaters you have around you, but like every theater has like commemorative popcorn buckets and stuff for this movie. They look sick as fuck, dude. They look so good.
Yeah.
My theater doesn't have it. That's not my bone to pick. I was like looking to like maybe get watch a movie this weekend. Mm-hmm. 2 movies are playing in my entire theater. It is only Twisters and it is only Wolverine and Deadpool and Wolverine.
That's it?
They have. Hold on, I'm gonna pull this up because it's like an absurd amount of showings of Deadpool and Wolverine.
That's crazy.
It's like they have real X or XD Real D 3D D box. That's a mouthful.
Oh my god.
XD D box, Real D 3D, Real D 3D D box, standard format D box, and then standard format.
Oh my god.
And this is just today. We are recording at 8:05. Just standard had showings at 3:15, 3:40, 5 o'clock, 5:20, 5:25, 5:55, 6:20, 7:15, 7:50, 8:25, 8:35, 9 o'clock, 9:25, 10:30, 11, 11:30, 11:45, 12:05.
So you're going to the
Get that bread,
one, right?
I guess.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Tomorrow it's playing at 12:05 a.m.
Jesus.
Yeah. So I saw that Daphne Keene's gonna be in there, so I'm like, oh, fuck, I have to watch Logan again. I'm like,
I'll tell you this. I'm not gonna spoil anything. You're gonna need to watch a lot.
Fuck. Okay.
Great. I'm supposed to review this movie, and I've not seen any of those films.
Should I watch all the X-Men like movies, like Future Past, Apocalypse, stuff like that?
You gotta think bigger than just X-Men. That's a hint.
I mean, I've seen all the Marvel movies.
Like
the TV shows too, yeah.
Aaron, can we bleep this just in case? I don't want to spoil anything.
Well,
in post,
we'll talk about it off camera.
Yeah.
We'll talk about it off camera. How about
all right,
that?
We'll talk about it next podcast.
we'll talk about it next podcast when we review Deadpool. No, just kidding.
When I tell you point for point, plot for plot, what happened that I read and didn't watch.
Yeah. Well. All right.
Anyways,
are you drinking anything?
I mean, I just finished my iced tea, so technically, no, not anymore.
Oh, shame. All right, I'll go next. I've also seen 2 movies since we last recorded. Watched Twisters, great movie, and watched Jaws, really great movie. I've got water, and I've got an Olipop. Sponsor us, please.
Nice.
Oh, how do you like the Olipops?
They're good. I like them.
They're not bad. I like the lemon lime one. The lemon lime one's good.
Yeah.
Please sponsor us.
Please.
Please. I have kids to feed.
All right.
Please. So, like you gentlemen, I've also only seen 2 movies this week. But 2 5-star movies. Last night I watched Past Lives with Aaron. We really liked, or she liked it a lot. Obviously, I loved it. And Jaws, of course.
Mm-hmm. So there you go.
And I got
there you go.
I got cranberry ginger ale and water.
Nice. All right. Well, before we get into the review, and we're gonna kind of get into it quick, we got a little game to play. Connor. Oh, Connor's gone. See ya. There he is. He's back. We're going to play a little categories like we did last week, except we're going to do it a little bit different. This week, we're going to be doing, instead of the IMDb scores, we're going to do box office. So which had the higher box office. Again, the goal is to get 10.
Mm-hmm. Last time we got 30, so we beat that. We are just gods amongst men.
Mm-hmm.
So starting off, 101 Dalmatians or Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2.
It's definitely Guardians of the Galaxy.
Guardians.
Yeah.
863
to 320, 100 million.
Yep.
Gone with the Wind, 1939 versus
now,
Guardians.
is this including inflation?
Well, we'll find out. When Gone with the Wind made a whole $6. No, okay.
402 million for Gone with the Wind.
Ooh.
I want to say
Gone with the Wind or Fantastic Four 2005.
I want to say maybe Fantastic Four.
I kind of am leaning Fantastic Four.
As am I. We were wrong.
We were wrong.
Damn.
All right.
Well,
try it again.
We scored 2. It really only made 300 million? Really?
That's wild.
We got Toy Story 4 for Zootopia.
Zootopia. I actually don't know. This one's tough.
Well,
Oh my god, are you kidding me?
It was 1.7
they were both
0.075 to 1.025.
Jesus.
So, not doing great today. Terminator
Empire.
Oh.
Sorry, guys.
What the fuck just happened?
I dropped my water bottle onto my keyboard.
Technical difficulties.
Stall.
Yeah,
I hope you guys
can
can still hear me and I didn't destroy my audio interface.
Oh, you're good.
So nothing happened.
Infinity War or National Treasure 2? I wonder.
Sorry,
$2 billion.
Oh, we know this answer.
Yeah, Infinity War versus Toy Story 4, we know. Nothing's being $2 billion besides like Avatar.
Mm-hmm.
Gone Girl
it's Toy Story 4.
Toy Story 4. Yep.
By a long shot.
Casino Royale versus Gone Girl.
Ooh. I think Casino Royale.
Yeah.
Yeah, first Bond movie back. Yeah. 616. Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them versus Casino Royale.
It's gonna be Fantastic Beasts.
I think it's gonna be Fantastic Beasts.
Return to Harry Potter World.
Yep.
Yeah.
Harry Potty.
Harry Potty. Fantastic Beasts.
Fantastic Beasts versus 101 Dalmatians again. Fantastic Beasts. Next, we got The Amazing Spider-Man 2 versus 101 Dalmatians.
Probably Amazing Spider-Man.
Yeah, I lean Amazing.
Is that what you're
Spider-Man.
thinking? Yeah.
Yeah, 708 to 320.
Yeah. I figured it was like a really
Yeah, this one might be. We got Megamind versus The Amazing Spider-Man 2. I don't remember Megamind being that big of a hit at the time.
I don't know because I know
I feel like
I saw it on the TV all the time. I either saw it on TV or it was like there were so many trailers playing on TV.
I think it did much better after, like, once it was on like Nick.
Well, now there's
ABC.
there's that meme of freaking Megamind.
No bitches.
The one that yes, that one.
And let's not forget, we did get Megamind 2, the Doom Syndicate. So,
I still think it's Spider-Man. I don't think it's gonna break 700 million. But
yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Yeah, 321 for Megamind. Christmas Carol, the 2009 Jim Carrey one versus Megamind. I want to say Christmas Carol.
I'm leaning towards Christmas Carol.
Yeah. Disney. Oh,
holy crap.
325 to 321.
Jeez.
Christmas off. We got Christmas Carol versus Home Alone. I'm worried that like it's the same thing with Megamind, where Home Alone did much better after it was.
After, that's true. Yeah.
What do you?
Home Alone. I'm leaning more towards Home Alone.
Me too. 476 to 325. Hell yeah. Rogue One: A Star Wars Story versus Home Alone.
It's got to be
Rogue One.
Yeah, the best Star Wars movie. Yeah, 1.058. Rogue One versus Inception.
Still think it might be Rogue One.
No, because I don't remember Inception in the $1 billion movie tier.
Yeah.
Close, though.
It was close. It was close.
Very close.
Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind versus Inception. I think it's Inception.
Yeah.
I think it's Inception, yeah.
Yeah, 74 mil.
Oh, wow. Wow, Eternal Sunshine didn't make... wow.
I don't think that's a movie that meant to make money. Or that much money, though.
Yeah. Fair enough.
iRobot versus Eternal Sunshine.
I love that tagline. One man saw it coming.
Did he or did he not?
Oh, iRobot.
I think I Robot. Yeah.
Yeah.
353 to 74. Yeah, Avatar: Way of Water versus
Okay.
iRobot. We'll just knock that one out.
Yeah.
2.3 bill. All right, cool.
Toy Story 3. I think we're going to stick with Avatar.
Yeah.
It's Avatar.
Toy Story 3 is high though, isn't it? Yeah.
One bill.
106. Wall-E versus Toy Story 3.
It's still going to be Toy
Toy
Story.
Story.
Wall-E did not make over a bill.
Yeah.
No, 521. Oh,
521.
over half.
Hey, this is for our... Oh, okay.
Force
I was
Awakens.
going to say, this is for our
okay.
high score, but
Okay.
it's The Force Awakens that made 2 bill.
Hunger Games versus Star Wars. That's still Star Wars.
It's still Star Wars.
Yeah.
Can we get 20?
I was expecting Hunger Games to be
694 for the... Okay.
The Hunger Games versus Green Book. I think it's the Hunger Games easy.
It's the...
Yeah.
Of course, I would be surprised if the Green Book made... it actually made more than I thought it did.
I was going to say, don't watch that sentence.
Yeah.
Die Hard with a
I was-
Vengeance or Green Book.
Green Book.
Green Book.
No, Die Hard.
I'm going Green Book.
Die Hard. Die Hard.
Do I need to get a
Connor,
coin?
it's up to you, Connor.
I don't have a coin around.
I don't have a coin.
Die Hard.
I got a bottle cap. We're gonna flip
Okay.
it. I didn't even call out what it would be, but
so for those of you who didn't see, Connor just flipped a bottle cap, watched it in the air, watched it land on the ground before realizing.
all right, let's try this again. Label out Die Hard. Bottom out Green Book. Bottom out, we're going Green Book. Fuck.
Oh,
Yeah, I knew it. I knew it.
it was
I knew
close.
it.
It was close.
Hey, we got 20 though. It's a new high score for the
boys.
box office. All right. All right. So I think with that said, are you guys ready to review Jaws?
Of course
maybe.
I am.
Let me open this Olipop. Let's fucking get into it. So, Jaws is a 1975 American thriller film directed by one Steven Spielberg. If you didn't know who that is, why are you listening to this podcast?
To learn.
Exactly, to learn.
We welcome.
We don't judge. We don't
welcome
judge.
everybody into this circle
Yes.
of movies.
Yes.
If you're unfamiliar with Steven Spielberg's work, he probably made your favorite movie. let's just put it that way.
Pause this one. Go back, listen to our Spielberg draft. We listed out
Yes.
the best movies. This movie won.
Yes, it was 1-1. So yeah, go back and listen to our Spielberg draft episode. Come back, listen to the rest of this episode. I don't have to say any more about Steven Spielberg. But it was based on the 1974 model. This isn't a car, ladies and gentlemen. This is a movie. The 1974 novel Jaws by Peter Benchley, screenplay by Peter Benchley and Carl Gottlieb, who, interestingly enough, Carl Gottlieb basically did Jaws and then didn't do much else in his whole career, which is kind of wild. Like his debut as a writer was for Jaws, and then did Jaws 2 and Jaws 3D and a couple of other movies, and then didn't write again after 1983. And Peter Benchley obviously did Jaws, but he also did The Deep. He wrote The Deep, The Island, Beast, and White Shark. So he definitely liked sharks.
One of us.
Yeah. starring Roy Scheider, Robert Shaw, and Richard Dreyfuss. Cinematography by Bill Butler, and I just want to touch on Bill Butler because this guy's a fucking genius. First off, born in 1921 in Cripple Creek, Colorado, which is an amazing town name. He lived to the age of 101 and just passed away last year.
Damn.
In April. So very sad. He died 2 days before his 102nd birthday. I can go into it when we get into the review, but Bill Butler responsible for a lot of the innovations and great work on Jaws. So you have him to thank as much as anyone else. And then score by John Williams, the greatest composer of all time, who did Star Wars and Indiana Jones, and also probably more of your favorite movies. Distributed by Universal Pictures and released June 20th, 1975, with a runtime of 124 minutes. This movie had a budget of $9 million. Can you guess how much money it made at the box office?
I'm looking at it now, so I'm not going to guess.
Okay. Sam, it's up to you.
Remember the original summer blockbuster.
I'm gonna go like 500 mil.
476.5 million.
Oh.
So you were very close.
Very close.
Very, very close.
So you could say it was a. You could say it was a. It was a success.
It was a rousing success. But yeah, that's kind of the details behind the movie. Sam, why don't you bring us through the reviews and scores for this film? There we go.
Okay, so let's see. Second. All right, on Rotten Tomatoes, a whopping 97%.
Wow.
Which I think is that our highest one?
Has to be.
It is
right above
barely
Moana.
our highest one.
Yeah, right above Moana.
Yeah, at a 96%. And Call Me by Your Name at a 94%.
Yeah. With an audience score of 90%. So again, everybody
tied with, interestingly enough, tied with Tommy Boy for the audience score.
Which is our highest one, yeah.
Which is our highest one.
I was looking at some reviews. There was obviously the majority of people like this that gave it like a 5-star or whatever.
Yeah.
A lot of the 1-star reviews, a lot of people said it was like not good because it put a bad stereotype on sharks, and like that's the reason why sharks are like endangered now and stuff like that, and it's because of this movie. Is because the reason why sharks are endangered and stuff.
But guess whose lemonade stand saved them?
That's a deep ass cut, Connor. Yeah. That is a deep cut. That's going back like 60 episodes.
I don't even remember when we talked about it, but we definitely did not have good enough mics for anyone to hear it.
No, we didn't.
I think you were talking like this is a bird.
Yeah, so I was making lemonade stand.
And if you don't know what we're talking about, don't go back and listen to our earlier podcast.
Yeah, maybe don't listen to episodes 1 through 30.
Just take our word for them. They're good, but
they sound like shit.
All right, so
hey, man, you haven't made it as a podcast unless you say don't listen to our early podcasts.
Yeah,
actively hurting our brand.
I remember I listened. It's funny we mentioned that. I listened to a podcast called My Brother and Me, which is like one of the most popular podcasts out there from the McElroy brothers. It's 3 brothers. They do advice on this podcast live. They've been going for, I think, almost 12 years now, or over 12 years now. They're up to like episode 700 and something. And they were on one of the recent episodes. They were saying like, yeah, you don't don't even listen to the first 200 episodes of our show. Like it's so bad compared to how it is now. And I was like, man,
Yeah.
I wish I could get I hope we get to that point where we can just be like, yeah, just don't even bother with the first 200 episodes. But anyways,
all right, continuing on with the reviews. This 5-star review from 3 years ago says, the true mark of greatness in a motion picture is its rewatchability, and this film is as great now as it was when it was released in theaters in 1975. John Williams' score is legendary and instantly recognizable. The music for this film is astounding and perfectly sets the mood for every scene. All the actors were fantastic, from Roy Scheider in the lead role as Police Chief Brody to Murray Hamilton as the smarmy mayor.
Smarmy, sure.
Who only sees money and not public safety. And this is a long thing, but it ends with, I don't know what history's greatest film is. It is a subjective judgment, but clearly Jaws is among them.
Yeah, I'd say that's fairly true.
Yeah, that's fairly true. And then a lot of the 1-star reviews are all memes. So
nice, of course.
Just a couple of these I'll read off. I was very boring. All the action
Okay.
all the action was towards the end of the movie.
No shit.
I like the part
climax.
with the shark.
I like the part with the shark.
Yeah. This movie relies on kids getting nightmares, getting eaten by fake sharks and blood everywhere. This is not a good movie for kids. It's not good for the environment.
Okay.
I don't like the fact that poor Pippet dies. Pippet dies. Yeah, I don't like the fact that poor Pippet dies from Bruce. The movie was ruined just by that, and I never even watched it, and still no. Look it up. Mad face.
Okay.
Rated
well,
R.
Yeah, we'll be sure to research that.
Rated R? The beginning already see her topless. Darn perverted director, and not for kids. Or should be stated PG-13. Shame on you.
Who?
Shark eating kids. Fine. Happy for them. It's ripping a man's leg off. Perfect. Not even visible boobies in the water.
Literally, I was going to say hardly visible tits.
Yeah.
That's where I draw the line.
It's like, God damn it. This guy, I was going to show this to my 2-year-old and now I can't.
Yeah, but there's a lot of there was a lot of meme 1-star reviews, but there are also the actual 1-star reviews is all just people shitting on how it's like, oh, this is now sharks are going extinct, and yeah, whatever. Puts a bad reputation on sharks, stuff like that. So
yeah, you could debate that into the ground about whether or not this movie is responsible for that or not. I'm not going to say it is or isn't, but it's a piece of media.
And now introducing our guest PETA representative.
Oh God!
I thought you were gonna say now our guest for the show, Bruce the Shark.
And now our guest, Dr. Anthony Fauci.
For some reason.
Whoa! What are you doing here? We've got to stop the curve. Slow the curve. Slow the spread of sharks. President Trump, what are you doing here?
The biggest shark I've ever
the
seen.
shot they were the shot they were gonna give the shark, that was actually the original COVID vaccine.
They shot it into the shark and it killed all the sharks. It gave them all COVID.
They tried to give the shark the jab. The jab, they call it. They tried to give it to him, and he didn't want it, so he didn't take it.
It got the China virus.
Oh,
China.
No. Oh.
China. The China virus. Okay.
Sleepy Joe.
This is the second week in a row that we've done this.
You!
That me've done this. That me have done this. Oh man, we're already falling off the rails. Do you have anything else for reviews?
No, we're good.
Okay.
We're good.
Connor, why don't you bring us through the plot of Jaws and we can talk about it.
Sounds good.
All right, that's all I'm doing. That's our transition.
All right, so In the New England beach town of Amity Island, a young woman goes for a late-night ocean swim during a beach party. An unseen shark attacks her and pulls her underwater, killing her. Her remains are found washed up on the beach the next morning. After the medical examiner concludes it was a shark attack, newly hired police chief Martin Brody closes the beach. Mayor Larry Vaughn persuades him to reconsider, fearing the town's summer economy will suffer. The coroner, now under pressure from the mayor and the city board, concurs with the mayor's theory that it was a boating accident. Brody reluctantly accepts their conclusion until a young boy, Alex Kittner, is killed at a crowded beach. Yeah, we're good there.
Let's stop there. Because I think we need to talk about this opening.
Yeah.
Oh, it sets the mood. It is. I was gonna say, is this the best opener of all time? I think it's up there. It's got to be up there.
Easy.
I mean, you have to me, it's like the Jaws opener, the Godfather opener. I can't think of any other. I mean, maybe the Star Wars opener, like the original Star Wars opener. I mean, there's not a lot of other opening scenes in movies that really do so successfully what this one does.
Yeah, I feel like you have different types of the openers, right? So, I would put Inglourious Bastards up there and stuff like that.
Dark Knight.
That one's a really good one. Dark Knight as well.
Honestly, There Will Be Blood. I think I'd put that one up there. So, but
no, I mean it's this one though. It's you get the iconic score just immediately, and it's sets you in the mood, and then you get the tracking shot of the shark from its POV, and then it cuts to this little party, and all of a sudden it's oh, things are okay, whatever. These guys are hanging out. This is a good time, and then obviously the two go off, and you're oh, what's gonna happen? And then she gets attacked by a shark, and it's it sets the mood right away.
It's just I've seen this movie probably double-digit amount of times. When you have the POV from the shark with the slow crawl of the score, I had goosebumps. Knowing exactly what's gonna happen didn't matter to me. I was still tense. I was it's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. Oh my god, it happened.
Yeah.
Shout out to the dude saved his own life by just being a bit too drunk.
Yeah, just being so drunk. He's I'm good. I'm just gonna lay down right here.
I'm just gonna pass out right here.
And I love too that the next day when he reports it, and they're whatever, it's oh, what happened? He's asking all the questions hey, I reported it, didn't I?
Yeah,
he's not even concerned. He's I reported it.
It's also a bit I don't know about police procedure, but maybe set up a little perimeter around this corpse, this mangled corpse you found on your beach. The guy who reported it was just oh my god.
And
I do too. They had the other cop. He was the one blowing his whistle, to let Brody know that they found a body, and he just is playing with sand because he's I am at a loss of words right now. Let me just let me move this sand.
Oh man. And then we get obviously we're in this area too. We kind of get to see a little bit of the town and the small town of Amity. I love it. I think it's the absolute perfect setting for a movie like this.
Oh yeah,
small town, beach town, USA, basically.
Shout out Martha's Vineyard.
I was gonna say I think it was based on Martha's Vineyard, right?
It was shot in Martha's Vineyard.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
I mean, first off, Massachusetts got shouted out. Great state. But also it. Well, we won't get into that. But I've been through areas like that where it's you can tell that this town is the beach is their deal. That's what they got, and that's how this town feels. And I love it. It's refreshing. It's nice. I mean, I've watched movies a lot recently, and it's something that's kind of perturbed me too. And it's like you get movies that are like based in LA or set in cities, and every character has a mansion, and every place is just rich and super wealthy. And yeah, it looks nice on screen, but it's not relatable. This is relatable.
Mm-hmm.
Everything about this town is relatable.
Yeah, I don't want to compare it to the we reviewed Summer Rental, the John Candy movie.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of got almost the same vibes in that like beach town area.
No,
thing.
I mean it does feel that same way. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And I like that they make Brody like the out of towner too. Because it does. I think it plays a lot into. You have like the man versus beast aspect, obviously, of them hunting the shark, but you have like the man versus man element too of he's trying to like protect people, but to this town, if they don't have like their beach drawing in all these tourists, their economy's going in the shitters. Like so their own livelihoods almost matter more than their physical well-being. In a way.
Yeah. And I think too that's what makes this the best shark movie ever is that the shark for the first half of the movie at least, the shark is not really the main threat. Like, yeah, it's this looming thing like, oh, there's a shark and there were shark attacks. But the whole story is about like is about Roy Scheider combating the townsfolk, the mayor, and dealing with all of that and the investigation and the beaches and the town and it's all this characterization, and the shark is looming in the background, but it's not the focus until the back half of the movie, which I think is brilliant. It's absolutely brilliant.
It makes it so much more compelling because, like, I know that reviewer was saying how they just wanted to see the shark, and so do I, but I think it makes it so compelling to follow, like, yeah, this mayor is like a douchebag, but you can see why he is so combative towards the idea of shutting down the beach, even if it means someone might get attacked and killed.
Yeah. Absolutely. So then we get the scene on the beach with little Alex Kintner who dies.
Oh
yeah.
And that scene on the beach too, one, we get the greatest dolly zoom shot ever. I don't know if it was the first one. I don't think it was
Easily
the first one, but I think it's the best one. Oh, absolutely iconic. But the thing that I think that in this area that is underlooked, and what makes Jaws such a masterclass in tension building and anxiety, is that like they just put shots of people in the water. Like they have to, and they'll linger on a shot of this random person that you'll never see again in the movie. But it's like, oh, is something gonna happen to? Oh no, we're okay there. Is something gonna happen to this person? Oh no, we're okay there. Like it's just multiple. Like they cut around to different shots of these random people in the water. And it's like, yeah, these people are having a great time and whatever, but like there's a shark around and a shark's gonna attack. But then it's like, oh, that person's okay, and oh, that person's okay, and that is brilliant. I love it.
Yeah, going off that point, it's like they don't just cut here and there. It's like they stay on the person for an awkward amount of time.
Yes, it's enough to be like, oh, something's gonna happen.
Yeah,
100%. Oh no, it doesn't happen.
Well, especially when you have the fake outs of the old man with his he's swimming underneath the other woman, makes it look like a shark coming. The kids with the rubber fin make it look like there's a giant shark. And then, well, 2 points of this. One, Alex just gets devoured out of nowhere. Like, there's no, like, obviously we get the setup of the shark kind of swimming up underneath him, but to, like, everyone else, it's just, oh my God, that kid's, like, in half right now.
Yeah, he's getting eaten by a shark. Holy fuck.
2, bravo for having the balls to kill a kid. because
Mhm.
that is a statement.
Yeah.
Because a lot of this movie too is the emotional weight that Brody feels when he like, to him again, his main priority is keeping people safe, and he got bullyballed by the mayor, by the whole town, to against his best judgment, like keep people out of the water. And immediately he's proven that he was, not only was he right, he fucked up worse than anyone else,
Mm-hmm.
because he had the power to do it, didn't, and now one of the most innocent people in society is now in a shark's belly.
Is dead. Yeah.
And I think he looks at his kids too that way too. Like he has his own kids that he has to look after, and I think that was just added on to the.
And so on the flip side of that, of all of this, and we're talking a lot of good, I got one gripe so far. I don't know why they made him afraid of water. They didn't need to.
Oh yes, I did notice that too. I agree. I'm like, why?
I think all you needed for a dynamic for Brody is that he is a city guy, a city cop who left to small town USA. And that, I think, works great. Do you really need to be afraid of water? It's a little weird.
Just have him, like, if he's a big, I don't. Does it say what city he came from or no?
Just
New York City.
Yeah.
Okay.
I assumed it was New York City.
Okay.
I mean, maybe
Okay.
they didn't say it specifically.
I think they just refer to
I-
him as like the city.
I was going
alright.
to say they could just make him like not used to water and like never learn how to
Right,
swim
you know?
or whatnot, just not afraid of water kind of thing, you know.
He's a city cop, not a small town cop, and that's totally different. That's a whole totally different ball game.
Because I think it was forget if it's later or if it already happened, when he's like getting drunk and he's saying like, oh, like New York, there's murder, people are getting robbed, like kids can't like walk to school, parents got to do it. There goes the cat. Here they haven't had like a murder in like a decade or 7 years or whatever it was.
Yeah.
But yeah, I kind of agree with that. I feel like, because he says like, oh, when someone asks him like, why are you afraid? He's like, drowning. Like, I'm just
that was it. That was the only explanation.
perfectly like reasonable thing to fear. Like, drowning is horrible.
Right.
Hot take.
But like at the same time, there's no payoff in the movie for like this whole like I'm afraid of water. And they make it a point too. He's like, the wife's telling him like, I know you're afraid of water, and people are saying like, oh, he's afraid of water, but then they never pay it off. They're never like, yeah, whatever. I mean, very small gripe, but it was just one thing that stuck out to me. I was like, do we just make him a city cop, like an average city cop?
I think I think what they could have added is like he could have saved that kid if he went in the water, but he was too afraid to go in the water to do
That's
that.
interesting.
So that makes him like have that on his conscience too. I mean, obviously we can go on and on about this, but that's just one idea that popped in my head.
Yeah, I mean, you know, I don't mind that.
I don't
mind that at all.
I don't know if he would have been able to save him even if he wasn't afraid, just because he was that far away.
I was gonna say just a different situation or
it could have
something
been
like
an
that.
attempt, but yeah.
Yeah, right.
Or
I mean,
along
even,
those same lines, like if the kid was swimming away, he could have jumped in, saved him, or whatever before the shark got to him. I don't know.
Apparently, they filmed like a much more graphic version of that. I want to say it was like you see the shark actually come up and get him instead of just having like it like somersault around.
Jesus.
Which I feel like I would love to see it. I don't think it needs to be that graphic though. The point is made.
No, it was perfect the way it was.
Yeah. More just my curiosity is like how.
Yeah. All right, moving on.
All right. So a bounty is placed on the shark, causing an amateur shark hunting frenzy. Quint, an eccentric and roughened local shark hunter, offers his services for $10,000. Consulting oceanographer Matt Hooper examines the girl's remains and confirming that an abnormally large shark had killed her. Local fishermen catch a tiger shark, and Mayor Vaughn declares that the beaches are safe. However, a skeptical Hooper dissects the tiger shark and finds no human remains in its inside. concluding that they got the wrong shark and their killer shark is still out there. While searching the night waters in Hooper's boat, Hooper and Brody find the half-sunken boat of Ben Gardner, a local fisherman. Hooper scubas on down to check the boat's hull, where he finds a large shark tooth embedded into the wood, and he sees Gardner's corpse, causing him to drop the tooth in fright. Vaughn dismisses Brody and Hooper's assertion that a great white shark caused the death, and
his dissertations.
Shut up. And refuses to close the beaches, allowing only increased safety precautions. On the 4th of July weekend, tourists pack the beaches, and the shark enters a nearby lagoon, killing a boater and coming very close to killing Brody's son, Mike. Brody then convinces a guilt-ridden Vaughn to hire Quint.
All right. So this at this point, it's like a half hour into the movie ish.
Yeah, like
roughly. But this is like the first introduction for both Quint and Hooper, who become obviously main characters. Both of them done excellent. I think I gotta say the intros for all of three of the main characters are really, really, really good.
Oh yeah. I like Quint's intro.
Oh my god, he just one of the funniest parts of this movie is that in that moment when he's screeching on the chalkboard, he drew a picture of a shark eating a person on the chalkboard. Like, his whole deal was like, this is gonna be so fucking sick. I'm gonna draw this shark eating a guy, and then I'm gonna go, and get everyone's attention.
With my non-existent nails, I'm going to scratch.
It was like so good. I was just like, what? Where did he have the time to draw a very amateur drawing of a shark eating a person and being like, this is what we're after, ladies and gentlemen?
I think we're aware.
It's like, no shit. But it's really great. I mean, we get all this characterization to and that's something that the movie does really excellently well, is there's a lot of characterization. We get to really know these characters, and something I think that makes this so successful from other movies too is like the focus obviously is on these three men. Yeah, we get a little bit from Mayor Vaughn. We get to know him a little bit, but then he's gone after the first half of the movie. Mm-hmm. Like, really, it's these three dudes and that's it. And the movie focuses on them. And it's so good. Like, we reviewed The Meg last week, and there were a ton of characters in The Meg. And we've reviewed some movies too, where it's like, there's too many people going on here. Mm-hmm. Like, I love that it was so singularly focused.
Yeah. I feel like, so I want to say around here's when we also get the scene of Alex Kittner's mom approaching Brody, because
they catch the shark. That's when she catches the shark. Yeah.
So she comes up to them and slaps him because, like I was saying, he knew there was a shark and still didn't close the beach. Mm-hmm. Which also we get one of the best, just kind of like heartfelt moments in the movie when, obviously that weighs heavily on Brody, and he's just sitting in his kitchen with one of his sons, and like he's bummed, so he's just kind of got his head in his hands, and he looks over and his son is just mimicking every move he makes. It's really sweet, really cute. Mm-hmm. And yeah, that was right before that Hooper came over and they get super drunk and go find the other fisherman dead.
Yeah.
Which also, phenomenal jump scare.
Oh my god, that was so good.
Oh yeah.
Terrifying. Absolutely terrifying. Mm-hmm. I love another great line in this movie is they're going to the boat. He's like, I'm not drunk enough for this. And Hooper's like, yeah, you're drunk enough for this. Come on, you're drunk enough for this. I'm not drunk enough for this. Yeah, you're drunk enough for this.
Hey, I like to when they're on the boat, like it's got all this nice fancy tech, and Brody's like, "How do you afford this? Are you rich?" And after like a pause, Hooper's just like, "Yes."
Yeah, I love that. He's just yeah.
This
I am.
movie is like very
Actually.
funny, without making a joke at
I was
all.
just saying, trying to.
Yep.
It was funny without trying to be funny.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like they're trying to. I think Brody's wife is trying to explain why like the fear of water. She's like, "Oh, what's it called again? Like the fear? Why don't you go in the water?" He's just like drowning. So tell me about this shark. Just completely.
So good.
One thing that I didn't. I mean, it's not like I didn't like, but when his kid almost got attacked and he was like in shock, kind of thing. Like he didn't seem like he gave a shit. He just like dragged the kid out, and the mom was like, whatever, and he just tells his wife he's in shock and like walks away.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's like,
I'm
bro,
like,
you're in shock.
I'm like, I think you're in shock too. So
Yeah. It's like, don't worry, I'm a man, but this boy is in shock.
and just walks away.
I like that, but that's like the first time we see the shark too. Like
Yeah.
not fully, but we see it's like we see it underwater as it eats the other guy.
Yeah.
Which, again, this is why like it's so hard to shoot sharks. Like that's why most shark movies look like shit. They used a robot. So they could actually do like the physical stunts themselves. So you can see the shark come and actually take this guy's leg off. Not actually, but
And yeah, and to that point too, if you have, it's way too in depth to go into on this episode. Maybe we'll do just like a bonus of the behind the scenes of this. But if you have the chance to read up on the making of this movie and how they did the sharks, it is absolutely incredible. The technology and the things that they did to make this movie work. I mean, it's absolutely incredible. And yeah, it's well worth the read, and there's a lot of I mean, this is the kind of era of filmmaking that I miss a lot of from what we have now. And I was thinking about this today because I saw there was a post on Twitter about Blade Runner and how they shot the landscape, like the cityscape scenes while they were driving in the flying cars. And how like they like innovated using fog to give the sense of scale. So they had this miniature set and they would bring fog in to get the sense of scale, but because of the technology, they could only shoot, like it would take so long for the shots to expose. So they had this technology, the cinematographer rigged this technology so that it would like sense areas that fog was getting lessened, and it would shoot little puffs of smoke into those areas automatically. And like, that's so cool and innovative, and we just don't see that anymore. Like now it's just put it in a computer program and it's like it's done.
yeah.
Like, and this movie is no different. I mean, they innovated and created 3 different sharks to fit what they needed. Is nuts.
Like obviously,
I feel like it.
Oh, go.
What?
Go.
I was gonna say, I feel like it's on the same scale as Star Wars: New Hope. The way they shot, the way they shot like the Death Star scenes and stuff like that.
Yes, absolutely.
Obviously.
I mean, in the 70s and in the 80s, I mean, these were people who were literally inventing things to make movies. I mean, like from the ground up, like this is what I want to do. I need to invent the thing to be able to get this done. That is a lost art, I think, in today's movie making. And for better or for worse, for me, I wish we would go back to that time where it was completely practical. I mean, even, and I guess I could talk about it a little bit now, but like I mentioned earlier, Bill Butler and his cinematography work on this movie. I mean, the stuff that they had to innovate just to shoot on the water
Oh yeah,
is absolutely incredible. I mean, he was creating water boxes that allowed them to film like on the water level, and one of the things that they did, instead of having to use a 400-pound gimbal on the boat to keep the boat shot steady as the boat rocked, what they did instead was this Bill Butler showed Spielberg that he could brace a handheld Panaflex camera and take the roll out of the boat rocking with his knees. Like, he would move his knees back and forth while he was shooting, and it would like steady cam instead of having to lug on a 400-pound gimbal onto a boat. And so that allowed them to be able to shoot scenes of the boat from rafts on outside of the boat. And it's like these people are just innovating, trying to make a movie, and that's what makes this so good.
Yeah.
It really is a lost art, because now it's like Universal is the one who distributed this and produced it.
Mm-hmm.
They can't afford the time to do this when they need to make like they need to pump out like 10 movies a year.
Mm-hmm.
As cheap as possible to make the most money possible.
Mm-hmm.
And it really is a shame, because even like sticking with Spielberg, like you look at Jurassic Park compared to any of the Jurassic World movies, and it's like night and day how much better it looks when you can tell people put time and effort into crafting the subjects.
Absolutely.
There's plenty of movies I'd rather watch that came out in the 80s than the new CGI that come out today, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, and not to say that today's movies are bad, because there's
absolutely.
really amazing movies that have come out. Some of the best movies ever have come out in the last 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a totally different type of filmmaking now to what it was then.
Yeah, I think I appreciate that more.
Yeah.
And
Mm-hmm.
vintage and stuff.
And to your point too, as movies have gotten more expensive too, it's kind of the innovation has lost on a lot of people anyways, because it's like we can just buy the equipment that we need or do this in post, or like this movie's budget was $9 million. Even in 2024 money, that's $54 million.
Mm-hmm.
Or sorry, $59 million, which is well below the budgets of a lot of big movies nowadays.
Well, even,
like well below.
We were just talking about like Deadpool in the first part of this. What's that, like 300 mil?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. Sorry, rant about the lost art of filmmaking, but it's something that's been on my mind recently a lot. That I wanted to talk about. I do also want to mention too. What did you guys think of the 4th of July scenes with all the people and the full beaches? I loved it personally.
Sorry.
I loved how it's like everyone knows there's a shark in the water. No one is setting foot in the water.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And like obviously they have a camera crew there because they're like reporting on shark attacks. And I just found it's like that's so real. Like no one is getting in the water after 2 people have been found, I guess 3 people now have been found dead on your beach in like the past week. And even like the mayor going up to, it was one of the city council guys, and just be like, get your ass in the water right now. Like,
like we need people in the water.
Mm-hmm.
But like at the same time, I just love the scale too, and the work that they put in to make it feel like a legitimate 4th of July. Like you could tell they had so many extras for this area, this part of the movie. But it's like it really gave the sense of like you can tell that, you know, this summertime is really a huge deal, and the 4th of July is a massive deal for this place. Like it worked great in that way. And then obviously the panic that set in when the shark was actually found, and then not found, and then actually found, and it's great stuff.
I like the fake out of it not being in the highly densely populated area, and it made its way into like this little lagoon where there is 2 boats and containing 4 people total. It's like, you know what, that's what I want. But
and I was so happy to see the mayor get his comeuppance.
And I love that it's not like in the typical movie way where it's like, oh no, he got pushed into the water and he got eaten. he is like, I fucked up.
Yeah, and now he's solely responsible for basically ruining this town for a long time.
Mm-hmm. And they know it. It's not like one of those things where he could pass it off. It's like, no, he's the one who told people to get in the water. He's the one who's been campaigning for like keeping the beaches open. His son was in one of in the other boat when the guy got eaten, and that's what. Unfortunately for him, that's when it became real.
Yeah.
But I do kind of
next section.
Oh no, I was just gonna say I do like how Brody was just like, sign this fucking check right now, and he's just like. He's like in shock a bit, and he's like, my son was in that boat, and he was like, yeah, that's cool, sign the fucking check, we're getting Quint.
Yeah, he's like, bro,
whatever he wants.
Enough.
It's like, guess what, my son was there too. I don't care, sign the check.
All
right, moving on.
Next section.
Despite initial tension between Quint and Hooper, they and Brody head out to sea on Quint's boat to hunt down the shark. As Brody lays down a chum line, the shark suddenly appears behind the boat. That's where we get the famous, you're gonna need a bigger boat line, which was ad-libbed.
Wait. The famous,
you're gonna need a bigger boat.
Apparently that was ad-libbed by Roy Scheider. So kudos for him for thinking of that one on the fly. Quint estimates that it is 25 feet long and roughly around 3 tons. He's able to harpoon it with a line attached to a flotation barrel, but the shark is too strong and pulls the barrel underwater and disappears. At nightfall, Quint and Hooper drunkenly exchange stories about their assorted body scars. One of Quint's is a removed tattoo, which he reveals that he survived the attack on the USS Indianapolis, during which there was 1,100 sailors and only roughly around 370 made it out because the rest were eaten by sharks. The shark returns, ramming the boat's hull and disabling the power. The men work through the night repairing the engine, and in the morning, Brody attempts to call the Coast Guard, but Quint is now obsessed with killing the shark alone, smashes the radio. After a long chase, Quint harpoons the shark with another barrel. They tie the lines to the stern cleats, but the shark drags the boat backward, swamping the deck and flooding the engine. As Quint is about to sever the line to save the boat's transom, the cleat breaks off. The barrels stay attached to the shark, though, and they see that Quint is now heading towards the shore to try to draw the shark into shallower waters. But then the boat fails because he overtaxed the engine.
All right. So now we get a whole change in this movie in the second half. They get out on the water, and really it's really the first time that you get the dynamic between all 3 main characters. It's phenomenal. It's so good. So good.
Yeah. Because all 3 are coming from completely different areas. Brody, obviously, we've been saying he's the city cop, probably not used to beaches or the ocean in general. You have Matt Hooper, who is the oceanographer. He's young, rich, works in an institute. Probably doesn't get a lot of field work in. Like, he's probably more so just in a lab doing tests.
I feel like he's pretty lonely too. He doesn't have a lot of people to talk to.
Yeah.
If he's
you can see his social skills are a bit wonky.
Yeah.
When he like goes into Brody's house for dinner, it's like just takes his plate away, and starts eating his food.
Yeah, he's like, "Oh, you want this?" And are you gonna eat this? And like, no. He's like, "All right, thank you." Starts chowing.
And then Quint is obviously the veteran, the grizzled fisherman who's like made a career out of hunting, killing sharks. And I like that they don't all get along right away. Like, they think Quint's a bit crazy, too old-fashioned, but he also isn't always 100% right, which I like too.
Right. Yep. Yeah, they stray away from like the wise old leader kind of thing, which is great. But again, I talked about this before. What makes this movie so great is it is a shark movie that is about the people.
Mm-hmm.
And the characterization and the people, and like this dynamic between these people is so good and so at the forefront with the shark. Again, that threat is looming over the top, but really, even when they get on the boat to hunt the shark, it's still about the three people on the boat.
Yeah.
And it's great. That said, I remember the lead up to the shark reveal being so much longer. It was like they got in the water and then 5 minutes later, there's the shark. And I was like, wow, I thought they were on the water a lot longer than that.
Again, it's perfect though, because it is, I mean, we've seen it before, but you're not expecting to see the shark. I think it was like hour 20 in. And that's when we get the full like frontal of the shark just popping up.
Yep. And it's such a nonchalant reveal. It's just not like built up.
There's no
like whatever. There's no build up.
Yeah.
It's just there, and there's like, holy fuck. And you get obviously the iconic line, you're gonna need a bigger boat, which is great. But it's like all that lead up, and it's there's no score build. It's just all of a sudden it's there and it happens, and it's like, oh, this threat that you knew about is now in front of you. It's terrifying.
Because I like that it's not from the shark's point of view anymore, so you don't hear the music.
Exactly. One thing I do want to bring up is this. I know, Connor, you've seen this movie, but this reminds me so much of Godzilla -1.
Yeah.
When they're on like the boat and hunting Godzilla. I don't know if they like took.
I think they did
from. Like they used Jaws.
Yeah, Jaws borrowed a lot from Godzilla -1.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
To make it.
No, it just when I was seeing that, it's just like, oh yeah, they did this in Godzilla, so.
Yeah, no,
it was kind of the same vibe almost. Yeah,
I'm pretty sure.
Again, that brings up of how it brings up how impactful this Jaws was to the movie industry.
Completely agree.
And then you get some great action too. With now that the shark's been revealed and they're like scrambling to try and shoot it and whatever, it's like there's some really solid action moments.
Oh yeah,
here too. Like it was very good.
And I know it was because like a lot of the sharks have been like the sharks they made were like malfunctioning, but I like that up until this point the shark hadn't really been seen. It's always just kind of been like this figure kind of looming around, and we did see it like eat the boater, but we hadn't like
barely.
I mean, you see it enough. It's just like up the great reveal of like this is what it looks like, and this is like the actual scale of it. Like as it's swimming underneath the boat, it's like, oh shit, this thing's as big as the boat.
This is huge, yeah. No, that was great. But then I love like you have this action sequence. They get the shark to they hook the shark, whatever. They harpoon it. The barrel goes underwater. Shark's gone. The action stops, and we go back to learning more about these characters. And you get that scene of while they're all talking at night in the boat, and Quint delivers an amazing monologue. Absolutely incredible delivery on that monologue.
Oh yeah,
I was like absolutely blown away. But it's like, the shark threat is quote unquote gone for now. And the movie doesn't try and keep the focus hammered in on the shark. It goes back to, okay, well, these are people that we want to learn more about. And, here's some info about Hooper. And you can see kind of Roy Scheider's dynamic. And you can see Quint's dynamic. And it works. It just works.
You knew there was going to be a scene of like, them coming like finally bonding, or at least maybe not even bonding, but just being like that mutual respect of like
they're understanding each other.
Hey man, you're all right.
Yeah, you're all right. A toast to your legs.
Like if you haven't seen it, obviously see it. If you have seen it, just read the monologue too, because it is so good.
Whew. It's incredible. But then obviously the next morning we get right back into the action. They harpoon this fucking shark 2 more times, so it's got 3 barrels.
Yeah.
I love how Quint's like, 3 barrels is enough to hold him up. 3 barrels. 3 barrels will hold him up. 3 barrels. And then immediately goes underwater. He's like, well, shit.
Mm-hmm.
It can't go under with 3 barrels. Goes under with 3 barrels. Like, it's like that Pikachu meme. It's like, it can't go under with 3 barrels. Shark goes under with 3 barrels. And it's just open mouth like, oh.
What?
And see, I like that. It's because obviously he's the shark hunter. It's like, it's that moment where he's like, oh my, like, this is not what I thought. And I think that's when he starts going like crazy. He's like this is how we were gonna kill it, and it's not working. Why is Brody trying to call in for help? Like, we can do this still.
Yes.
And I like how casual he is with it too. Like, Quint just goes up, smashes it with a bat, and he's like, hold that. Now, will you please?
He's like, here.
Will you please get starboard? Yeah, Brody obviously is like flipping out.
Yeah. It's like, you're certifiable. You're certifiable. But I think one of the most underrated shots in this movie, and I've talked a lot about the cinematography because really it's one of the best shot movies I've ever seen. But like, one of the most underrated shots is when they have the wide shot of the boat with the barrels as the barrels and then the barrels go underwater, the 3 barrels, and it just lingers on this shot of the boat in open sea with nothing around it, but you know that there's a big ass shark around, and it lingers on this shot for just long enough, and it looks amazing. You feel the isolation, you get the terror of knowing what they're up against, and also the loneliness of like, yeah, they're at sea. They're fucked. Like, if this boat gets destroyed, they're pretty much like terrifying, and I loved it. So good.
Completely agree. Want to keep going?
Because at this point too, also this is when the engine is. I forgot. This is when the engine is blown, so they're stuck in the water too at this point, which is even more terrifying.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Yeah. No, I've just like up until like the halfway point, they had barely shown the shark, and now it's like, no, get ready, because
he's here.
This shark. Not it. I love that they made the shark like pissed off. It was like, okay, I've just been shot with a harpoon. Like, I should run and hide because clearly something's after me. It's like, well, fuck you. Well, I'm gonna come at you now. I like when it's on the offensive.
Yes. All right, let's get the last part of this movie.
All right. So as the boat takes on water, the trio attempt a riskier approach. Hooper suits up and enters a shark cage, intending to lethally inject the shark with poison via a hypodermic spear. However, the shark viciously attacks the cage, causing Hooper to drop the spear, and while the shark destroys the cage, he escapes to the bottom of the seabed. The shark then leaps onto the boat's stern, causing it to tilt, which spells the end for our dear Captain Quint as he is eaten by the shark. Very iconic scene. Trapped on the sinking vessel, Brody shoves a scuba tank into the shark's mouth. I know, I saw a shark coming up and I had to say scuba.
A scuba
shark. A scuba tank. And climbs onto the crow's nest, trying to shoot the tank with a rifle. Says another iconic line, "Smile, you son of a bitch." And he's able to hit the tank with a bullet, causing the shark to explode. Hooper resurfaces. Bless up. Hooper resurfaces and he and Brody paddle back to Amity Island, clinging to the remaining barrels. The end.
I like how they just end it on that. Like, no aftermath.
Yeah, no, there's no after. It's like, oh, movie's over. All right, guys.
What more do you want?
But I
Shark's
appreciate
dead.
that too.
I don't mind. I was gonna say I don't mind that at all.
It's the
I
old,
appreciate when movies know when to
it's
end.
the summer rental
Yeah.
approach. Like, they won the race. What
Yeah.
more do you need to see?
Oh, you want to see the aftermath? Fuck you.
No, that's what the sequel's for. Not even.
Yeah.
I just love,
Most.
I was gonna say I just love the suspense of Brody on the boat.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
When he was trying to get with the shark and stuff like that. So
When he was trying to hook up with the shark,
Yeah.
they were getting all flirty back and forth.
Oh,
Shark was
yeah.
like, "Hey, you up?" And
Quint's gone now.
Brody was like, "Nah, man. You want to give it a try?" Oh.
My wife's not here.
No, but you're right. I mean, it is like you kind of get that because Hooper's down in the ocean,
Mhm.
Quint's gone. Now for all you know, you're alone, and it's like,
This is
fuck.
your biggest
The boat's
fear,
still
too.
sinking. The boat's still sinking.
Mhm.
Yeah, and boat's still sinking. True.
Growing up, I could
Um,
have sworn, like, I must have just blacked out when Hooper swam away. I could have sworn he was like just swallowed whole by the shark. Cause then maybe it's just selective memory. Cause as the shark blows up,
I think you were confused with Sharknado.
no. Cause listen,
Could be
when the shark blows up,
Mandela effect.
I think it is a Mandela effect. You see like large pieces of the shark come back down, and I was like, oh, one of those was him. And I was like, oh well, I don't think he would have survived being blown up in a shark.
An explosion? Yeah, no.
No, listen. I saw this movie for the first time when I was probably like 8. So
Yeah, 8 was a really formative year for you.
yeah,
8 was the first time you saw some titties, huh?
barely.
Apparently. Most terrifying part of the movie, hands down, that shark cage.
Oh my god!
Holy
Oh,
fuck. Holy, like I was scared, and it's a movie. I was sitting there watching, I'm like, fuck.
the claustrophobia of
was-
it.
Oh. And they do such a good job of like, where's the shark? Oh, that scene when the shark goes away and it lingers in the ocean.
Murky
and
water.
just long enough is like, oh, it's murky water. Is it going to come back? Whatever. And it cuts away. And it's terrifying. It's truly terrifying.
Well, because too, they frame it so like the shark cage is not like in the center of like the shot. It's more focused on like the front of the cage where the shark just was. And there's only like
Mhm.
maybe not even a quarter of the screen is showing like the backside of the cage where the shark ultimately comes from. So it's just like
Mhm.
your eyes are drawn to the front because that's where like Hooper is, and the camera doesn't even shift over to show the shark. You just see the nose hit the cage.
It's terrifying. It's like if I was in that situation, I probably would have just laid down and died.
Oh yeah.
just laid down and died. But again, also Hooper, worst hands in the league.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
He drops so much shit in this movie.
Very much. Listen, one,
it's like immediately as
one you get a pass. 2, you got a problem.
Yeah. 2, you gotta go back to training camp and work on those hands, my buddy.
Gotta get the stick
Probably
'em.
drop something on his swim. He's probably dropped something on his swim back to shore with Brody.
Yeah,
At
probably.
the end of the movie.
It's like, ah, fuck, I had another tooth, but to show that we killed the shark, but whoops.
Dropped
Just take our word.
Shit. Yeah. That final duel, like from when Quint gets eaten, which by the way, that again is like happens out of nowhere, kind of no build up, no dramatic score, no nothing, no heroes sacrifice, he just gets eaten.
Yeah,
He just slips and falls and gets eaten. I love it.
Mm-hmm. Again, perfect use of the practical shark because it can actually tilt the boat.
Mm-hmm. Yep. But then it's like the final duel goes by so fast.
Mm-hmm. Well,
Is like I again is maybe it's because of how long ago I'd seen it for the first time, but like I remember it being much longer, and then I was like, oh, we're done. All right, he stuck it in his mouth, and then 2 minutes later, the shark is now gone.
Mm-hmm. Well, I like to because he goes back into like the crew, I guess the cabin of the boat, and the shark just comes right through the window. It's like, I got you, bitch. And I like
that was awesome.
Yeah, I like that you can see like bits of Quint in the shark's teeth still. Great attention to detail. And yeah, it is a bit quick, but I do like it because immediately he sticks it with the tank, and he's like, I gotta shoot this thing now. There's no like realization like, wait a second, let me grab this gun.
Yeah.
Let me aim for the tank.
No, it's great.
Mm-hmm.
It's great.
Yeah, just, again, iconic line, smile, you son of a bitch. Delivered perfectly, even though it kind of sounded like a little lady yard, but I don't know if they would do that. And then just the carnage of this shark being blown up.
Yeah. And then Hooper comes up and he's like, yeah, we did it. And it's like, you didn't do shit.
Yeah.
You were terrified at the bottom of the ocean. I shot the shark.
I shot the shark.
Okay. All right. Anyone else have anything for this before we go to our final scores?
I think I'm good.
Good fucking
All right,
movie.
let's go to our final scores. First up, we got to talk about the acting. Connor, how'd you feel about the acting?
I loved it. Just like you've been saying this entire time, the dynamic between the three, Hooper, Quint, and Brody, I love how it all clashed and then blended. I liked all the not smaller characters, but Ellen Brody, his wife, the mayor, the kids. I thought they all did really well as well. I'm giving this a perfect 5.
Yeah, I'm right there with you, man. The acting is phenomenal. Robert Shaw was the standout performance here. I mean, he was just phenomenal as Quint. But everyone is really, really, really good. This movie relies so heavily on the main three, and they deliver in spades. It's a 5 out of 5.
All right, and I'm right there with you. 5 out of 5. But not adding anything else. I mean,
enough said. Right?
I mean,
enough said.
That was last week. That's Sharknado. Enough said.
Sure.
Yeah.
But
then we got the story concept. Sam, why don't you kick us off for story concept?
I think it was great. It was unique, and it just didn't. I know, obviously, this movie was like the first actual shark movie, but I think it was great. The direction was amazing, and it didn't solely focus on one thing. And the way that it built the characters together, especially like halfway through the movie, how they all like they just forget about everybody else. They just focus on these three. Just focus on these three guys now. So I gave it a 5 out of 5.
Connor, what about you?
Again, right there with you. Perfect 5 out of 5 for me. Just the way like this really is kind of like 2 movies in one, with like the first half being the man versus the town, essentially, because he's the pariah for wanting to protect people, and then you do get more of that action-packed ending of them being like, it's up to us because no one else can do it. And I like that it had 2 separate focuses, and I thought they nailed both of them. So 5 out of 5.
Yeah, and I was just slightly lower, 4.5 out of 5. Again, but really, the story, the idea of the movie is great. It's so unique. It was the first shark movie, the first real summer blockbuster. But the one thing that draws it down a little bit is the nitpickiness that I am. Don't need to make Brody afraid of water, guys. Come on. That's it, though. That's really nitpicking. But I mean, again, 4.5 out of 5 is still like near perfect score.
Mm-hmm.
And then we got the visuals. I'll kick it off. I've sung the praise on the visuals for this movie. I think it's one of the best shot movies I've ever seen. The things that they had to do to make things work, make the shark work. I'm reading now even that they built 2 identical 42-foot models of Quint's boat. The Orca. So we had Orca and Orca 2, the Orca 2 was the one that they designed to sink. I mean, just they did everything right visually here. The town is great. The scapes of the scenescapes of the beaches are great. The shots on the water are great. It's a 5 out of 5. It's no question 5 out of 5.
I'll go next. Again, because I agree. 5 out of 5. Agreed.
All right.
No, because again,
No.
I've been singing it this entire, honestly, maybe this entire month. How hard it is to shoot like a shark movie, because you have to factor in like the physics of water, physics of sharks, and the fact that they built like these mechanical sharks so that they could do everything right means like it was just perfectly done. And then, like you're saying, the landscapes, shooting on the ocean, the beaches, the town feeling like a very lived-in town. Obviously, because it's Martha's Vineyard. Just perfect for me. 5 out of 5.
Sam?
Yeah, again, enough said. 5 out of 5 for me. I'm on the big practical set and practical pieces. Been like that's what I like.
The bandwagon.
Bandwagon, that's the word. I would watch, these kind of movies over any modern day CGI, the original Star Wars, this movie, even Lord of the Rings came out in the early 2000s. Pretty much everything was practical there. Yeah.
And you're right. I mean, we touched on it earlier. Like, practical adds realism. Like, you watch one of the new Marvel movies, I'm sure Deadpool and Wolverine is going to be the exact same way. It's going to feel so fake, and it's going to be like, why just,
and it's
shoot it practical.
It's crazy because you can almost always pin it down to like one thing that if they had just like lighting, the lighting just doesn't look natural at all. And this could have been fixed had they been shooting like where they
on locations instead of in front of a green screen or a blue screen or a blue set. Yeah. And then we got the writing. Connor, kick us off with the writing.
This script gave us so many memorable moments and lines. Quint's monologue is just perfectly written, perfectly delivered as well. It's 5 for me.
Yep. Yeah, go ahead, Sam.
I was just the teens. I'm at a 4.5 out of 5. I think it was great. One of the best scripts out there. A couple of the things I could get kind of behind. I think the scene with all of them, like the press talking to like the board or whatever, where I think a couple of that could have been really not included, but other than that, I really have nothing bad to say about the script. So 4.5 out of 5.
Yep. I gave it a 5 out of 5. Connor, I agree with you. It's just incredibly well done. I didn't really have any flaws in how it was written that really stood out to me. I thought all the dialogue was great. The story, I mean, I touched on the story, but like just the way that scenes were written and the way that it flowed together was really great. So yeah, 5 out of 5. And that's going to bring us to our overall enjoyment score. This is the most important score of the review because this is our final score for the movie for each of us. Sam, why don't you kick it off?
Oh, I'm going first.
Yeah, you go first.
Can I tell you guys something?
What?
This is my first time watching this movie.
It's about time.
No. Serious?
Yeah, I've never seen this movie before.
Wow.
Listen, people lose their virginity a lot later in life. This is I'm just happy we could all be doing this together, and we could be here for your first time.
Connor lost his at 8.
My dad was there too.
So I love this movie. This is really good.
Sorry,
I'm trying to hear
what he said.
Yeah, I'm trying to ignore it and continue with my score. I'm trying to
continue with your score.
I don't know if this is because of the first time I watched this movie. Like, it's great. I'm gonna give this movie a 4.8 out of 5. It's not a perfect 5 out of 5 for me. But it's it's right up there. One of the best movies I've ever seen.
Mm-hmm.
So I yeah.
Yeah, I mean, for me, this is one of the best movies ever made. It's just plain and clear. It's made in 1975. It was the first blockbuster movie, summer blockbuster, for a reason, and it still holds up to this day because of how well it was made, how good the performances are, how good the direction is, how good the writing is. I mean, even the editing is just on point. And it blows me away. Who knew a shark movie from a guy who literally had only made one other movie before this would end up being one of the greatest films of all time? Well, here it is. And so when you add up all of my scores and you average it out, it equals a 4.875. So that's my score.
Round that for me, buddy, or what?
I do not want to round that.
Right, well, I'm making it all ugly.
Nope.
So, like you were singing its praises, this is also the first movie ever shot on water, like in the ocean.
Mm-hmm.
So really just setting the bar incredibly high. Again, like you guys were saying, this holds up. What? How far are we? 50 years almost later?
Almost.
Yeah.
One of maybe top 5 movie all time for me. So I'm giving it a 2. No, I'm kidding. It's a 5. I'll do the thing you guys do. I'll add up all my scores and average them out. Guess what? It's a 5.
Guess what? Oh man. So that brings our average for this movie to a 4.89, which is far and away. Yeah, congratulations. We have a new gold medal on the podium. Unseating Call Me By Your Name, Jaws, with a 4.89 is a full half a point higher than our second place movie, which is really phenomenal. And so our new top 3, Jaws, Call Me By Your Name, Muppet Treasure Island, baby.
Let's go. Represent.
Oh, man.
We each got a movie. Actually, I don't know if Call Me By Your Name was your movie, Aaron, or if it was mine.
That was your movie.
I got 2 up here then.
I haven't had I haven't really had a me movie, like a proper me movie on the list yet, but we're going to get one. A proper me movie. All right. So if you like what you listened to today, leave a rating, subscribe, follow us on your favorite podcast platform. It really helps us out. Share it with your friends, honestly. If you're listening to this, if you're a new listener, share this podcast with your friends. Tell people you know about it. That really is the best way for us to be able to grow and do this more and more in the future. You can follow us on Twitter at FilmboxPod. You can go to our website, pressplaymag.com, for reviews of new movies as they come out. And I'm sure we'll sprinkle in articles about other stuff here and there. I want to start doing a throwback movie reviews column once a week, so we'll see how that goes. You can follow me on TikTok and on Twitter. I post a lot on both of those platforms about movies and stuff in general. And you can follow us on Letterboxd as well. We each have our own Letterboxd. You can see what movies we're watching, when we're watching them. And you don't have to wait for these episodes to come out to find out what we've been watching. You can know already. You can hear about Connor's 7,000 movies that he watches in a weekly span. Yeah. So with that said, though, Connor, at the end of each, again, if you're new here, at the end of each episode, we ask Connor to give us some numbers so he can watch movies that we tell him to watch.
Mm-hmm.
So Connor, what do we got?
So I'm going to change it up a bit. Instead of doing like 1 through 5 and doing a new list every single time, I have a list of 18 movies. I'm going to watch all 18, but I'm going to do it. We're still going to do, you each pick a number, and those will be the 2 I watch, but this will just be my running list.
Interesting.
So I'm not going to tell you what else is on it.
Okay.
So 1 through 18.
Okay. Got a 14.
I'm going number 1, baby.
Ooh.
All right. I am watching Rope and Farewell. The Farewell.
Okay.
Okay. No
So
idea what those are.
Nope. No. All right. Well, if you want to hear his thoughts on those, tune in next week. We'll see you next time on the Film Box Podcast.
You're going to need a bigger boat.